Welcome to Raise the Bar Smart Money Podcast. Your host, Juan Pablo Delgado, who is a business owner, co-founder of RTB Latinx and Financial Pro, will take you with business owners, professionals, and people who are in the hustle. Raise the Bar Smart Money Podcast es un espacio para cotorrear sobre negocios, emprendimiento, la vida misma y el billete. Bienvenidos. Native Angelino and eldest daughter of immigrant Mexican parents, Maria Isabel Lopez embodies the blend of both cultures. Inspired by her father's rag-to-riches story and her mother's passionate spirit, she was set out to connect and create. Her passion for travel, family, and her goal of becoming a bilingual entrepreneur has led her to many adventures, both personally and professionally. In her early 20s, Maria left a lucrative career in real estate to create the local hotspot Candela Taco Bar and Lounge, which she both conceived, designed, and built. Starting with nothing but an unused storage space populated by old cafeteria chairs, she created a place where locals could get a traditional homemade Mexican recipes straight from her mother's cocina and enjoy a cocktail in a chic environment. Candela Taco Bar quickly became a bridge between her evolving Miracle Mile neighborhood and her family patrimony, Leonardo's nightclub, the original regional Mexican dance halls in Los Angeles. Maria strives to stay involved in hosting events and immersing herself in causes she believes in. For the past 10 years, she has served on the board at Amanecer Community Counseling Services. As a board president, she strives to do her part in erasing mental health stigmas. Amanecer is a non-profit organization that focuses on providing culturally competent, accessible, high-quality mental health care for the underserved adults, children, and families of Los Angeles who suffer from mental illness or severe emotional problems. Along with her personal involvement, Candela has been home to a vast variety of organizations, causes, and cultural events, including Home Dog LA, Big Sunday, APE, Purposeful Rescue, Knights of Columbus, Get Lit, California Tango Championships, and others. Beyond Maria's projects that include managing a large creative event space, she has also launched a jewelry line, Well Aware. Her wellness bracelet line for mindful women is made by a Mexican artisan that crafts your ideal medical ID piece, one that is free of stigma and full of style. Her gorgeous bracelets are created in the town that holds Mexico's oldest silver mines, Taxco, Guerrero, Mexico. With the sale of each piece, Maria and Well Aware are committed to supporting clean water initiatives and providing access to clean water so that rural economies may flourish, a cause dear to Maria's heart, having had parents that once were those children fetching water for survival in rural Mexico. Through her partnership with Healing Waters, they plan to take a holistic approach in creating opportunity and hope in communities that lack water by educating and inspiring a healthier future.
Maria is a passionate entrepreneur and mental health advocate. One of my takeaways from our conversation was about money, of course. And she said, sometimes the education we attain, whether at school or home, could be limiting or damaging. She was talking about a simple but paramount concept about money. What's your relationship with money and what it means to you? Therefore, I realized she was talking about financial dignity. And I would like to tell you what that means. Financial dignity is walking with your head held high, knowing you can achieve anything you want financially. No matter where you came from, it's believing that you are deserving abundance. Many people allow their surroundings and personal situation to create a narrative that they don't deserve to be rich or that they will never be wealthy. As my mentor, Adam Barr, says, building your financial dignity starts with what you tell yourself and what you believe in. Keep listening if you want to know more golden nuggets and more about this Latin entrepreneur. Maria Lopez, welcome to Raise the Bar Smart Money Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Juan Pablo. I really appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you. And Maria, in a few minutes, please tell our community about yourself, about what do you do and how do you start?
Well, I guess I would have to start just kind of sharing a little bit of my family's background, because really that's where my story begins. My father and mother are both immigrants from Durango, Mexico. They had all of their children here in Los Angeles. So I am a proud Angelino. To be more specific, a Valley girl.
Right.
And my family has been in the Mexican nightclub and entertainment business for over 45 years. They went on to create a space for hardworking immigrants that had nowhere to celebrate their culture. And really they did that by providing a space with live entertainment. So a lot of the big bands that we know now kind of had their humble beginnings at my dad's nightclub and event space. So that was 1977 that he began that. I grew up in a very traditional household, and women were not very much part of that business conversation, but we were always around it. So it was pretty much impossible to ignore that curiosity of mine to learn more about being in business and wanting to have something for myself. So like a good first-generation Mexican-American daughter, I got my degree in international business. And really, I started in mortgage and real estate, had a bit of a career there, did well for myself, but found myself kind of trapped, right? In this rat race of a 9 to 5, but really it was more like a 7 to 10, and not being able to see the sun go down, or kind of trying to do it all. And so while it was lucrative, I knew that I wanted that freedom of time. So I came to work with my dad, and really it was more so to help him get organized and not to take over. But that is what happened. I started kind of proving myself. I was the only daughter of the brothers that own these nightclubs, my dad and his brothers, that kind of stepped into the role. And so I was able to rebrand our property on La Brea and Wilshire here in LA as a restaurant first. And after proving myself, I was able to take over the entire property. And so that's where the umbrella of Candela La Brea was born. And so now we host events of all types. So everything from social, weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, quinceañeras, to high corporate events. So our clients like Pandora, Google, YouTube, SpaceX. It's been a crazy ride to get to this point in rebranding, because our nightclub had such a heavy influence in our area that I'm super proud that now Candela is known as an event space.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that. And it's amazing all the work that you have been doing. And Maria, tell us a little bit more about Candela and about the challenges that you are facing right now with this current situation.
I think that, like most business owners right now, I don't consider myself an outlier by any means. I think everyone that has worked so hard to create something to be independent, we're facing challenges that are financial, trying to keep your team together and making sure that it's not just my family that I'm worried about, it's my staff and team's family that I'm worried about as well, you know? So I think the challenges, especially in our business, events were the first thing to get shut down and will probably be the last to come back, given the virus. So really, I think for us, it's keeping a positive mindset is a huge challenge, given that we know that we're probably going to be the last to open. Like most of us business owners, it's about reinventing ourselves and really just staying relevant and in people's minds. So what do I do to make sure that people remember that our doors are still open? So that's kind of the case. Ahora estamos en cuestión de sobrevivencia, ¿no? Like just making sure that we're above water, making sure that that we make it past these crazy times, because I know whoever does is going to be just fine. But I think most of us business owners know that every couple of years this happens, whether it's some sort of challenge in the economy or in this case a pandemic. Preparing yourself for that is key, and making sure that we set ourselves up to know that it's not always going to be fluid success. So that's kind of where, as an event space, we kind of look at things.
Right. No, I love it, and thank you for sharing that. And talking about challenge, what's the most challenging that you have encountered personally and professionally, and how did you overcome the challenge? And of course, what do you learn from it?
I think we'll probably talk about this later, but for me, mental health is a huge passion of mine. I consider myself a mental health advocate. I became this passionate about it because early on in my dating days, I had a verbally abusive partner. Not to get more into that, but I think that relationship led me to my greatest lesson, which for me now is a constant battle, but learning to set boundaries, I think, is so important, whether we're talking professional or business. I think we're kind of ingrained to think that boundaries are only there for people that we don't like or that annoy us, but no, it's really it's really setting boundaries that make it clear to ourselves and to others what disturbs our peace, what we want, how we want to be treated, how we want to be communicated with. So in business, it could be something like, no, I'm not going to answer your email, client, at 2 a.m. because that's a boundary that I want to set. It's almost, it's having that in mind, that the second I answer a 2 a.m. email, the next time that I ignore that 2 a.m. email, it's considered me not being on top of things. And so I think as business owners, we have to be very clear on how we want to be communicated with. Really, that came from that challenge on a personal note, but now has translated into business.
Wow, absolutely. And I agree 100% with you. And thank you so much for sharing that. And Maria, what do you like the most about your business?
I really think that Candela for me has been so special because I'm such a people person. I know introverts get their soul filled when they have time to be alone and to rest and all of that. For me, I get full when I'm around people and others' energy. And so I think seeing people come into our space, have a great time. I've seen first dates turn into, oh my God, we're getting married. And then they come in with their kids. It's been since 2009 that I opened Candela. And so within all those years, those 11 years have really given me an opportunity to see this community grow around us and us watch our community grow as well. So I really think that the people interaction and the community that we've seen through Candela is really what inspires me daily.
Nice, awesome. I love it, and I love Candela. Me gusta.
Yes, tratamos lo posible porque se sienta casero y nostálgico la comida. La intención es de que la gente algo les abra el corazón al probar nuestra comida o oír una canción que les recuerde, no sé, a su abuela o a su tía, vecina, un viaje. De eso se trata la experiencia de un restaurante, creo yo.
Wow, me encanta, exacto, eso son lo que crea cosas memorables. And Maria, what's the most exciting thing are you working on right now?
So aside from Candela, I have two other big projects that I'm a part of. One of them is a mental health organization that I am the board president for. I've been a part of Amanecer Community Counseling for the past 9 years in different facets, really. I was once just a board member. Now, a few years ago, I was the vice president. Now, as president, I take a total commitment to really trying to destigmatize what mental health looks like in the Latino and people of color communities. I think I'm a living proof that therapy helps. I think that within our families, maybe it's always the échale ganas sort of attitude, and sometimes echarle ganas is not possible when you're hurting. And so I think that I'm super committed to my own healing and to the healing of so many others. That's where my true passion lies. And then also my jewelry line that I started, we launched it a year ago. Actually, next month it'll be a year. And it's I confuse the mental and the medical. They're medical ID bracelets. So the medical ID bracelets through my company named Well Aware are made in Mexico. So we support the artesanos in Tasco, Mexico, and we hand make every piece in this town named Tasco, Guerrero, which is 2 hours south of Mexico City. That's where the original silver mines were. And I'm so passionate about just preserving culture in any way, and I think artisans are a huge part of our Mexican culture. So we try and give back to artisans in Mexico by having partnered with a family there. I love to support family businesses wherever I can because that's what I am, right? And so through purchases of that of that company, we actually give back to clean water projects through Healing Waters, which is an organization all over the world, really, but we focus in Mexico to be able to support women initiatives and educate children about hygiene. So those are my two big loves of my lives aside from Candela.
Oh, wow. I love it. And congratulations for that. And
thank you.
And Maria, what's the best way for the community to get in touch with you or your businesses?
So you can follow Candela on La Brea for more information about our restaurant and events that we have. We host a lot of community events. We do what we can to open our space to all sorts of events. And so you can find us on candelalabrea.com. For Well Aware, we are at livewellaware.com. You can learn more about not only our brand, but also our community, which we continue to communicate with through our Courageous Conversation session. It's basically conversations with wellness experts that give us some feedback on how they're dealing with life as we know it right now. So on Courageous Conversations through our livewellaware.com.
Awesome. Got it. Thank you, Maria. Gracias por compartir.
Absolutely.
And Maria, share with our community your biggest insights about business or, your most valuable financial lessons.
If I look back on where I started and the courage that it takes to start any business, really, I really think that my mantra when I first began kind of says it all. It was always say yes and figure it out later. I think it's easy to get wrapped up in the fear or the unknown, but for me, it was what led me to some of my biggest clients and most amazing experiences and opportunities. I think taking a look at our relationship with money is also a big, big aspect in terms of what you now consider success. For a lot of people, it's a dollar amount in the bank.
Right.
I can't say that that's mine, but for some, it might be what it looks like to me, like peace of mind and liberty of time. And so really kind of stepping back and seeing, okay, what are the things that I should consider to be important? And really looking at our money wounds when we talk about that, right? So what are the things that I'm ignoring or have yet to recognize about how my parents thought about money? What are the things that we should consider are things like our scarcity issues or growing up, what were the phrases that we heard a lot in regards to money, like para mí siempre era mija, un día llueve y todos nos mojamos. Like who says that? We do, we heard that a lot.
I know, right? Exactly.
It was like, ¿cómo que un día llueve? Like, no. Why do I feel bad for asking for wealth? So I think when it comes to business and advice, I look at things more on an internal level, like how am I changing the conversations in my head? It was always like this, mientras tengamos salud, like, yeah, you're right. I want to be healthy, but I also want to grow, mainly because I want to give back, right? And hopefully that's the case.
Right.
But we can't give back unless we go back and really analyze like where we have been, the things that we've heard and have been ingrained in us. So I think it's important to really just go back and heal those wounds or at least be aware of them. And then I think last but not least, I know I got long, but last but not least, you have to forgive yourself for not getting things right. I think we're our own toughest critics. And really, if we think about it, the faster we forgive ourselves for not getting it, whatever it looks like for us, wrong, then the faster we get to learn from our mistakes and grow. So that's basically where I'm at with that.
Wow, I love it. Me encanta. Gracias. Thank you for sharing.
Claro que sí.
Y María, ¿qué legado te gustaría dejar?
Nuestro legado tiene que ser lo que nos trae más felicidad, más paz. And so when we look at our legacy, it's what is it that's going to bring me joy, but also something that's going to be able to be transferred hopefully soon to my kids or to the following generations, For me, it's always been about culture and family. And so I think raising my own expectations to to make sure that Latinos are at the table and speaking on things going on now, things that will be affecting us later. So really, for me, it's always been about how do we get more Latinos to the table? How are we going to make our voice heard? And our opinions matter, So I think making sure that within trying to accomplish my goals, knowing that there's a community and a future generation that counts on me showing up to my greatest potential.
Wow. Me encantó. Estura y familia es como la base de todo lo que
Claro.
nos sostiene para seguir adelante. Maria Lopez, we are wishing you all the best. Be safe and keep raising the bar. Sigue superándote y muchas gracias por estar aquí en el podcast y compartir un poquito de tu interesante vida.
Muchísimas gracias por la invitación. Les deseo a todos todo lo mejor del futuro. Yo sé que vamos a poder salir de esta juntos y muchas gracias.
For all out there, keep raising the bar as well. I hope you enjoyed this interview and thank you for listening, and please don't forget to share. Thank you for my support, RTV Financial Group in Beverly Hills, Callcast, and Power Podcasting.